Democrats have said for a really long time that dark money is a big problem in American politics, that dark money should be banned, that they should not be allowed to take, politicians should not be allowed to take dark money, that it should not exist in our political sphere, that dark money is the devil, and it is. Don't get me wrong, it absolutely is the devil. It completely is. But guess who took all that devil dirty money? Joe Biden, it turns out, took an unprecedented amount of dark money. Here it is. Dark money helped pave Joe Biden's path to the White House. This was reported on by Bloomberg News. I just want to read a little bit of it to you. It says here, President Joe Biden benefited from a record-breaking amount of donations from anonymous donors to outside groups backing him, meaning the public will never have a full accounting of who helped him win the White House. Because that's what dark money is. So if you're not familiar with what dark money is it's money we don't know about. Okay, so it's money that the way to donate to dark money in order to become dark money or to qualify as dark money is 501Cs these are nonprofit organizations that are set up, and they can donate to they can donate to PACs, so political action committees. They can donate to those super PACs, these nonprofits, or they can donate directly to candidates. The way to get a lot of money into a candidate's account, essentially for the candidate to use, is for really high dollar donors. So let's say you're super, super rich and you want to donate $1 million to Joe Biden. The way you would do that, because there's campaign limits, right? So you're not allowed as an individual to donate that much money to Joe Biden. Your individual limit, I believe, is about it's a little over $2,000, like $2,500 is all you as an individual are allowed to contribute to a candidate. Now, most of us do not even contribute anywhere near that amount. At most, I think this last election cycle, I think I donated maybe a few $100 in campaign donations to Tulsi Gabbard and maybe to Bernie. And that's about it. I don't spend anywhere near the maximum for a candidate that I could spend. However, there's a way around that, and that is you donate to a PAC, and you could give as much money as you want to a PAC. They can fundraise unlimited amounts of money. They just cannot then turn around and give that money to the candidate. They have to spend it on behalf of the candidate. So what usually happens is somebody who's really close to the candidate ends up starting the super PAC for the candidate and runs the super PAC and runs where that money gets spent. And, you know, the rule is they're not allowed to coordinate with the campaign at all, that they have to do it on their own and on the side. But usually these people are really close to the candidate and they know where the money should go, and they know what the candidate would want, and they craft ads. And a lot of times the candidate likes that there's supposed to be this blindness between the two of them, this kind of wall between the two of them, because then a candidate can have plausible deniability. So if there's an ad that runs that's particularly vicious against their opponent, the candidate can say, well, that didn't come from me. That was just this organization that ran that ad on behalf of me, but I didn't do that. I didn't run any vicious attack ads, right? So they can set these up. Well, the way to get this dark money in, now a lot of that money, we know how much super PACs are spending. We know that there's just boatloads of money pouring into these campaigns. And a lot of times we know who gave. Right. And we talk about this a lot. We say, oh, this candidate took a lot of money from the defense sector. This candidate took a lot of money from real estate or banks or from big oil. Right. We know where this money comes from. But dark money, we don't know anything about. You and I don't know anything about. Now, Joe Biden knows where all that money came from. It's not dark to him. It's very much in the light to him who gave him what. But to you and me, it's dark. The way people do it is you got $1 million. You want to donate it to Joe Biden. Maybe you've got some interest that you want Joe Biden to pay particular attention to. And so you give that $1 million to a charitable organization, a nonprofit, I guess, is what they're supposed to be, right? A nonprofit is supposed to be a charitable organization, but it's just a nonprofit. So you give your money to a nonprofit. That nonprofit then turns around and gives that money to a super PAC. So the only thing we see when we look through the super PAC's donations is the charity. But the charity doesn't have to disclose where they got the money. The nonprofit doesn't have to tell you who gave them the money that they turned around and gave to the super PAC. So that is how somebody who's really rich and who has an agenda and really wants to see their agenda through, that is a way for them to donate to a candidate, have a candidate really champion whatever it is they want, without us being able to connect the dot to that person. That way, if Joe Biden starts to champion some kind of odd idea, right? He's got something going on. And let's say, he's starting to say like, oh, well, like the healthcare industry, big insurance, he was saying on the campaign trail, I'll get single payer done. I'll do something for single payer. And now he's, maybe backpedaling on that a little bit. And it looks like he's just going to do what the insurance companies want. Well, if you are a big person in an insurance company, CEO of a big insurance company, and you want Joe Biden to drop this whole single payer idea, then you would donate boatloads of cash to Joe Biden through a 501c, through this nonprofit organization. That nonprofit organization then gives to the super PAC. That super PAC spends it. And then they, of course, through the grapevine, which is a very small grapevine, it's not very big. That small grapevine lets Joe know, who gave $1 million. You know who one of your big donors actually is. It's that guy, the CEO of that big company. And then Joe Biden says, okay, well, shakes his hand, says, thank you very much for supporting me in my campaign. We're defeating Donald Trump. And they have drinks, and it's what can I do for you? So Joe Biden absolutely knows where all of the money comes from. You and I don't know where that money comes from, and that's the problem. So then what happens is when Joe starts to do things that seem a little odd, we cannot then say, that's because you took $1 million from the CEO of that big pharma company. That's what happened there. We don't know. So we can't say. And if we can't say, then he can't feel any pressure. And if he can't feel any pressure, then he doesn't have to change. He doesn't have to answer to anybody. He's not held accountable. That is the problem with dark money. So Joe Biden here, it says, according to this Bloomberg article, that he was backed by $145 million in dark money donations. $145 million came from untraceable. We don't know where that money came from. $145 million. Now he raised in total $1.5 billion. We know where most of that came from, but there's $145 million that you and I, Joe knows, but you and I don't know where that came from. Now, how much dark money did Donald Trump take? Donald Trump, the guy who's supposed to be the antithesis of democracy, the guy who's the dictator. Joe Biden is here to rescue us. He's Captain America. He's the one who doesn't do anything against the American people. Joe Biden is the good guy, right? So, of course, with Joe Biden taking $145 million in dark money, if that's the good guy, then I would expect Donald Trump took what? $1 billion of dark money? I mean, he must have. He must have taken at least double what Joe Biden took. If Joe Biden is Captain America and Donald Trump is the evil dictator that we have to distance ourselves from. No, Donald Trump took $28.4 million in dark money compared to $145 million in Joe Biden's dark money. So you tell me, who is working for the corporations, the oligarchs, for special interests when Joe Biden out fundraised Donald Trump fivefold on that one, sixfold? Now, you could say, well, maybe Republicans don't take much dark money. That's kind of odd, right? I mean, it should be the Democrats who don't take much dark money because they're the ones who've been saying all this time, dark money is bad. Dark money is evil. Dark money is the devil. We got to ban dark money. You've got all these Democrats saying end dark money. So you would think then that Republicans must take a lot of dark money, right? And but so then you can't say, well, look at Donald Trump. He didn't. I guess Republicans maybe don't. Well, no, Mitt Romney took a boatload of dark money. Now, mind you, not nearly as much as Joe Biden took this cycle. When Mitt Romney was the presidential candidate in 2012, Mitt Romney took $113 million in dark money. $113 million in dark money to Mitt Romney, $145 million this cycle to Joe Biden in dark money. Now, that sort of starts to make a little bit of sense, right? So Mitt Romney, he's the guy who has been, really against Donald Trump, right? He even said yesterday in the vote for the impeachment that he is all for impeachment. He's probably going to convict Donald Trump. This Mitt Romney guy is going to, right? Well, of course he would. because he's clearly working for the same people that Joe Biden's working for. Where do you think Mitt Romney got that 113 million in anonymous donations? Who were these people? These are oligarchs. These are the people that run America. You and I think we're running America, but they're really running America. You and I think that they're supposed to be held accountable to us, but really they're held accountable to them. And so then it starts to make sense why Mitt Romney would be one of the few senators who's continually going after Trump. I'm not defending Trump and saying Trump's the good guy in all of this. He's certainly no Captain America either. But we have to get real with who the enemy is and what is really going on. And so when we see these Republicans like Mitt Romney turn against his own, and therefore he's principled, and so that's really what's going on here. Mitt Romney's the only one showing principle. You're right, he is. He's showing that he's principled to the big money interests, that he's loyal to the big money interests. It's not about loyalty to the Republicans or turning against Trump, who's, he's obviously needing that. No, Mitt Romney has been, ever since he tried to become Secretary of State for Donald Trump, remember that? And then that ended up that ended up being a bust, and he got eviscerated all online. People saying, look at Mitt Romney beg Donald Trump for a job. And then Donald Trump smears Mitt Romney and says, forget it. And this is Mitt Romney's revenge. And that guy is bought out by the same people. So this is Democrats and Republicans who take all of this dark money. They take this dark money and they champion for ideas that are for those who give them the dark money, and we don't know who that is. That is a massive, huge problem. So just want to point that out to you, that Donald Trump and, that Joe Biden took all of this dark money, and we don't know who he's really working for. But you could guarantee that if you took $1.5 billion and only, I think, 350 million actually came from small donor donations, the vast majority of his money, over $1 billion, came from big money donations, then I don't think Joe Biden is the president for the small guy, the little guy. I don't think that's who Joe Biden is representing. I'm going to bet 1.2 billion that Joe Biden is actually working on behalf of big corporate America. Now, another thing about this dark money, one question I had was, can foreign governments or foreign actors donate in this dark money way? That was one question I had on this was, they were accusing Donald Trump all these years of being Putin's puppet. Well, you would think then that a lot of that dark money, and who knows, maybe that 26 million or 28 million that Donald Trump took, maybe all of that came from Putin. Maybe that was Putin dark money, right? Maybe. So where did that 140 of dark money come from for Joe Biden? We don't know. But when looking it up, it does look like the workaround. Now, foreigners are not allowed to contribute to our elections, but the workaround is through this dark money loophole. So a foreign corporation, they don't even have to use a dark money loophole that much. They can actually donate to a super PAC. All they have to do is have a subsidy registered in the United States. So you could be a foreign corporation. You could be a Chinese or a Russian or whatever corporation, and you could actually donate to American politics. So as long as you have an American subsidy, so it just comes through the American subsidy, which is ridiculous. But the dark money, those people are allowed to donate to these nonprofit organizations who then turn around and give that money to super PACs. And that dark money can come from foreigners. Now, if you remember, there was this gentleman, he's a professor, a Chinese professor. His name is Di Dongxin, I think, if I'm saying it right. Let me see. Yeah. Di Dongsheng. I want to show you just this little clip of him. He was a notorious, he did a whole video that was censored by China eventually. He's in Xi Jinping's inner circle. He's part of kind of the government in China, and he's a professor, and he was giving a lecture to a bunch of Chinese students, and he was saying to them, this is how we were able to basically gain influence in America. We were able to gain influence in Joe Biden's administration. Watch this little 10-second clip, and I'll explain a little more.
这儿我抛出一个可能又要是暴论了， 就是因为咱们上边有人，就是我们在美国的权势核心圈啊，我们有
We're
我
gonna play
们
this
的
again.
老朋友。
Let's go ahead and start that. Let me I'm going to read, because he's speaking Chinese, right? So let me kind of stop and read to you what he's saying as we play it.
这儿我抛出一个可能又要是暴论了。
All right, so he says, I'm going to throw out something maybe a little bit explosive here, he says.
就是因为咱们上
It's just because we have people at the top.
就是我们在美
At the top of America's core inner circle of
国
power
的
and
权势核
influence,
心圈啊，
he says.
我们有我们的老朋友。
We have our friends. So he's saying they've got their friends at the top of America's influence, of America's power and influence. Well, what do you think is the influence? Because it's one thing to be the CEO of a company or to be a big executive or to be shaking hands with Joe Biden or to be in the inner circle. But where's the influence? The influence is money. And this gentleman did an entire speech that has been censored, but you can watch on it. And Glenn Greenwald did an excellent expose on this on the video and what this guy was saying and how he was basically bragging that that China was able to infiltrate Joe Biden easily by using Wall Street and influence, and he says that Joe Biden was talking about. Or there was accusations against Hunter Biden that he was setting up these international organizations. And this guy was saying, who do you think helped him build those? And basically implying that China helped Hunter Biden build those. That is an aspect of dark money. So this is the problem. Now, I don't know if Joe Biden really received money from China, as this guy was claiming. I mean, this was a claim from this gentleman. I don't know if that is true. We don't know because we don't know what that dark money was. And that's the problem. But that dark money can come from foreign actors. That dark money can come from big businessmen who have ideas or an agenda, I should say. That can come from foreign, even large groups of foreigners, maybe dual citizens that have, they want certain things done in their home country. They want certain policies to be promoted by the United States for their home country. We don't know where that dark money comes from, and that is the problem. But Joe Biden has taken an unprecedented amount, the most dark money in American history was taken by Joe Biden. Remember that.